my life, been grinding all my life. Sacrifice, hustle paid the price. Want a slice, got to roll the dice. That's why all my life I've been grinding all my life. Look.
Another week, we are back at it. So the consistency, yes, that's what we want. That's what we want. Project discipline. So with that being said, today we're gonna talk about the perfect program or the perfect workout plan. And I know that finding the perfect program or workout plan is very subjective. And why do I say that? It's because in order for you to find the perfect program or workout plan, you have to start with what are you trying to achieve. So on this journey, I'm trying to achieve, I'm going to achieve 215 in 90 days. So I have to keep the end goal in mind. And with that being said, I know you hear this all the time. It's super cliche, but you got to reverse engineer. Start from where you want to get to, how to get there, and then you got to create the roadmap to get there. Now, creating the roadmap can be very subjective, and this is the part where you have to know exactly what you're doing to try to get there, or know the step-by-step process to get there. In this case, it's easier said than done. You know what I'm saying? Because when it comes to getting in shape, you didn't fall out of shape. I mean, you didn't just overnight get out of shape. It was a step-by-step process to get out of shape. Whether you're trying to get back into shape, like myself, it was a day-by-day process. So with that being said, in this, it's going to be a day-by-day process to get back into shape.
Nah, grind strenuous, cash out continuous. Mogul in the making, autonomous black businesses. Broken culture that we all lost niggas in. Elevated innovation over ignorance, I represent it. Suburban tenant, 5 or less percentage. Close current, but the Mac 11 muzzle vintage. Go flourish, double back and come and get your niggas. Pass the power to your people, it ain't nothing really.
So when it comes to working out in a workout plan, it's kind of misleading to try to get to 215, especially when you're trying to lose weight. Because the workout plan is not really what's going to get you there. It's really your food, or what you can consume. Because of the day-by-day process is not necessarily you working out. It's more so you consuming what you're consuming. So this is where you hear you gotta eat at a caloric deficit. You should already know what a caloric deficit is. However, if you do not know what eating at a caloric deficit is the amount of calories that you consume, you're supposed to eat under that, because the amount of calories that you consume maintain your weight. So you got a maintenance weight, you got a caloric deficit weight, and then you got a caloric surplus weight. Surplus means to gain weight, caloric maintenance means to maintain your current weight, and then a deficit, caloric deficit, means to lose weight. So in order for me to get to 215, I gotta consume at a caloric deficit. That's the first place we gotta start. It's 80% diet, 20% workout for the goal that I'm trying to achieve. However, let's say somebody's trying to achieve gaining weight, you know what I'm saying? It'll be the same exact formula. However, their workout plan is very critical because they're trying to develop in specific areas. This is where you get the term bodybuilding from. You know what I'm saying? Because you want to build your weak points. So if I had to say my program, and for me losing weight and somebody else who wants to develop their body would be different, because they will have specific things that's designed for them to be able to hit those areas that they're trying to grow. For me, it doesn't really matter what program that I'm trying to follow. As long as I'm eating at a caloric deficit, the goal is to lose the weight and maintain strength and still be agile, you know? So that's that when it comes to, you know, the misleading part of finding the perfect program or the perfect workout.
Best position of my life, my future looking bright. Them Gucci's on my face, but I'm not blinded by the light. I'm out here in grind mode. I'm out here in grind mode. The best position in my life, my future's looking bright. Them Louis on my face, but I'm not blinded by the light. I'm out here in grind mode. here in grind mode.
Now that we got that part of the way, how many times a week should you work out? How long should your workout plan be? Should it be 8 weeks? Should it be 12 weeks? Should it be 16 weeks? Should it be 24 weeks? Should you go 3 times a week? Should you go 4 times a week? Should you go 6 times a week if you possibly can? Well, again, subjective. That just depends on you. It depends on your availability, and it also depends on your end goal. To me, in my opinion, the duration of how long your program should be determines your end goal. So with that being said, if I'm trying to achieve 215 and I'm 250, right? Well, basically, as a man, we are supposed to lose a pound to a pound and a half, possibly 2 pounds healthy per week, right? So if that's 12 weeks for me to lose by the end of the quarter, am I going to achieve that? If I do 2 times 12 because I want to lose at least 2 pounds per week, that's only 24 pounds. You know what I'm saying? Am I going to be able to hit that goal like that? This is mostly only from eating at a caloric deficit. Yes, it's possible, but it takes a lot of extreme discipline. So I'm taking the intense approach. Most programs are not designed to take the extreme approach. Most meal plans are not designed for the extreme approach. Athletes, meaning like high performing athletes, boxers, or like guys that are trying to get in shape for the season, they take the extreme approach when it comes to competing or in bodybuilding. Because they're trying to compete, they take the extreme approach. The average person is not taking the extreme approach. You can, however, it is very hard to do when you are either working a 9 to 5 or your schedule is extremely tight. Because in order for you to be able to hit that number in that duration or that time period, you have to go to the extreme, meaning you're probably working out 2 times a day. You're probably taking cardio intense, maybe 45 minutes to an hour per day. Or you're probably doing an hour and 30 minutes per day. You know what I'm saying? So that being said, how many times a week should you actually train? Well, that's all based on your availability. If you have the ability to only train 3 times a week, that's still fine. If you have the ability to train 4 times a week, that's fine. If you have the ability to train 6 to 7 days a week, that's fine. Most people do not train 7 days a week because you do need a day where your body needs to recover. However, if you take that intense approach, 9 times out of 10, you're doing cold plunges, you're getting massages daily, you're stretching extremely daily, your warm-ups are intense, your cool downs are intense, meaning that your recovery is intense for you to go back and hit it again. If you don't have that availability or the funds to be able to do that, then you need to dial it back a little, because going that intense approach can actually cause injuries, and that is not what we want to do. You feel what I'm saying? So, going back to the original question, how many times a week should you train? Well, that's up to you. That's up to your availability. But I highly recommend no less than 3, no more than 6. You do need a full rest day to be able to allow your body to just chill. You know what I'm saying? So that's my recommendation. How many times a day am I training? Well, I'm training 7 days because my intensity of my workout is not high. My intensity is very low due to my arm. Well, I still need to achieve the goal. So I have to be able to go through the motions with the majority of the things that I'm doing as far as my workouts, like you see. And staying true to the basics, the fundamentals. The fundamentals carry my strength even when I'm losing or gaining. You know. So with that being said, that's my personal split. I'm doing 7 days a week. Once my arm has the ability to get back to normal, my split might change up a little bit, you feel me? But don't go off of my split. Go off of what you need.
Know he a genius, he just can't claim it. Cause they left him no platforms to explain it. He frustrated, so he get faded. But deep down inside, he know you can't fade him. How long should I stay dedicated? How long till opportunity meet preparation? I need some real nigga reparations, or I run up in your bank just for recreation. Dedication.
Let's finish out this when it comes to the perfect workout program. So, here's a little cheat code if you made it this far. If you train 3 times a week, I recommend you do full body, because you're hitting each muscle group 3 times a week, which will allow you to either keep the muscle that you developed over the time period, or it will allow you to develop the muscle over a time period. Say we're doing 8 to 12 weeks, 12-week program. Let's not make the gap big. Let's say we're doing a 12-week program, right? Within those 12 weeks, you possibly have what we like to call phases. So you have first phase is basically probably 3 weeks or 4 weeks. The second phase, same number, 3 weeks to 4 weeks. Fourth phase, same number, 3 weeks to 4 weeks, because our end number is 12. The reason why we hit phases is because it still challenges your body to grow, or it still challenges your body to understand that you are forcing it to grow. If you do the exact same thing for the entire 12 weeks, your body will adjust. Your body is smart and dumb at the same time. So you have to learn the importance of phases. Now, if you go out here and get these cliche training programs, they don't phase. They don't go to the next phase when you complete that phase. You just do the entire workout, Monday through Friday, whatever you do, consistently. That's not going to challenge your body to develop or grow. So with that being said, always remember your program should have a phase, whether you're trying to bulk or cut, because you don't want your body to run into adaptation. So going back to my original statement, if you're going 3 times a week, you should train full body. If you're doing 4 times a week, you can train full body 3 times, and then next thing you know, if you're doing 4 times a week, you can do an upper lower split. Where you go upper lower rest, or you can do full body 3 times, and then train like maybe a specific muscle group that you want to personally develop, right? If you're doing maybe 5 times a week, you can do a push-pull leg, full body, or you can do full body, upper split, lower split. You see how it really is very subjective based off of what you are trying to achieve. If you're doing 6 times a week, you do upper lower, full body, or you could do push-pull leg, and be complete. I'm giving you all of these basically formats or formulas to be able to figure out what program really works for you based off your availability. And then you have the typical bodybuilder growth split, right? Where you basically train in muscle groups, maybe chest and back one day, shoulders and arms another day, or arms another day, and then shoulders and legs another day. You know, that right there is more so if you're trying to chisel your body, trying to develop like certain areas within your body. These programs really only last 12 weeks, maybe 18 weeks, just depending. But you know, it's really basically really subjective to achieve that, because everybody's body is completely different, and you have 3 different body types. I know I'm giving you a lot of information, but this is super important when it comes down to finding the perfect program specifically for you. You can start off with, if you're a beginner, to the fitness world or trying to get in shape, you can start off with a basic program. You are going to get results. But again, your body runs through adaptation. So over time, you have to switch it up. You have to get more specific about what it is that you are trying to achieve. Whether you're trying to get in shape, meaning conditioned for a specific sport, or like bodybuilding, or you are trying to just maintain your actual health, or you are trying to gain some muscle. You feel what I'm saying? It all just depends on the end goal. So with that being said, this is another episode of Project Discipline, Road to 215. And I just want you guys to understand, you got to start somewhere, but always keep the end goal in mind. Always, no matter what, keep the end goal in mind.